They say every day is for the thief, one day for the owner of the house. But ICPC, the Anti-Corruption Commission, has reversed the role. It is now every day for the owner of the house. If you're involved in bribery, over-invoicing, or any shady deal, the day of reckoning has come. ICPC, the Anti-Corruption Commission, is watching you. If you're reported for any corrupt practice, you'll be investigated, prosecuted, and punished. Corruption is harmful to our nation. Join the campaign against it by reporting any corrupt practice to ICPC, the Anti-Corruption Commission.
Let we join hands with ICPC, make them better.
Let's make Nigeria great again.
ICPC, they want to.
Come on, hand for corruption.
Break the chain of corruption now. Don't give, don't take. This message is brought to you by ICPC, the Anti-Corruption Commission.
Welcome to Corruption Must Go, ICPC's weekly television program. I'm your host, Hawa Garba. In any society where its educational system has a prevalence of examination malpractice, the system invariably produces inadequately trained and half-baked doctors, lawyers, engineers, teachers, amongst others. Surprisingly, the least likely quarters where examination malpractices should find encouragement is where it seems to be getting its nourishment. Viewers, today on the program we shall be looking at how some parents, yes, parents aid their wards in examination malpractice and how this has negative effects on nation building. Also on our menu, we shall bring you updates on anti-corruption stories, a bit of character building, drama, ethics and values. First, let us join Ruth Awodi for anti-corruption stories.
Welcome to this segment on anti-corruption stories. I am Ruth Awodi. President Muhammadu Buhari has sworn in Professor Bolaji Owasonwoye as the new chairman of ICPC at a brief ceremony in the council chamber, State House recently. Also sworn in were 8 other new board members for the commission. While swearing them in, President Buhari noted that he was particularly delighted that the ICPC law under which the new board will operate is robust enough to assist government to sanitize the public sector in service delivery, public procurement, diversion of public revenue, and deliberate misuse of public funds. The new chairman, in his response, swore to eschew, expose, and fight corruption. He also said that he was encouraged by the unquestionable, unshakable, and unequivocal stand of Mr. President against corruption, which indicated a very strong political will to fight corruption and therefore promised on behalf of the new members that they will not disappoint the nation in their assignment. The Senate had late last year screened and confirmed the professor and other board nominees, whose nominations had been pending for over a year. The honorable members that were sworn in with Professor Owasonwoye are Grace Chinda, Titus Okolo, Obiora Igwedibia, Justice Adamu Bello. Others include Olubukola Balogun, Hanatu Muhammad, Abdullahi Seidu, and Yahaya Dauda. The chairman will be in office for a tenure of 5 years, which is renewable only once, while the board members have a 4-year tenure that is also renewable only once. Professor Owasonwoye will be the 4th substantive chairman of ICPC since its inception and has, by the swearing-in, taken over the reins of office from the acting chairman, Dr. Musa Usman Abubakar, who is the commission's secretary. ICPC has again arraigned the former executive director of ASO Savings and Loans PLC, Maimuna Aliyu, for diverting $360,000 belonging to the bank. In a one-count charge before Honorable Justice Dingba of Federal High Court 10 sitting in Abuja, ICPC accused Aliyu of receiving $360,000 for the sale of some plots of land and refused to remit same to the bank. The commission said that Ms. Aliyu, while acting as executive director, committed the alleged offense in December 2012. The accused pleaded not guilty when the charge was read to her. Her lawyer, Mrs. R. Okotebo, prayed the court to grant her bail in liberal terms, while ICPC counsel Ekoi Akponimi Singer prayed the court to make her bail conditions stringent to ensure compliance. Justice Dingba, in his ruling, granted her bail in the sum of 5 million naira with one shorty in like sum who must be a civil servant not below grade level 14, or if a businessman, must possess properties within the jurisdiction of the court. The bail conditions also include submission of her international passport to the court. He further ruled that the accused should be remanded in Suleja prison if she fails to meet the bail conditions after 36 hours. The matter was adjourned to the 6th of February 2019 for commencement of hearing. ICPC has charged an executive officer of the Federal College of Agriculture, Ibadan, Mr. Kabiru Oladele, to court for allegedly defrauding the college of 738,200 naira. The commission, in a suit filed before Justice A.L. Akintola of the Oyo State High Court, Ibadan, accused Oladele of defrauding the school when he collected 738,200 naira as school fees from a part-time student without remitting same to the school's account. He was also accused of making false returns as well as presenting a fake bank teller to the college in respect of the said sum to be used as evidence of the school fees paid by the student. Further, part of his alleged offense included presenting a false document to the institution with the intent that it may be acted upon as genuine, contrary to Section 465 of the Criminal Code Act, Laws of the Federation 2004. Oladele pleaded not guilty to all the charges when they were read to him and was granted bail by the court in the sum of 2 million naira and two shorties in like sum who must reside within Oyo State. Justice Akintola then adjourned the matter to 5th March 2019 for hearing. That will be all on this segment. Corruption Must Go continues. Stay with us.
Hi. We are here for registration.
Can I have your number, please? 49. Number 2 just left my office now.
So,
It is number 3 Stone.
are you saying I have to be on the queue? Do you know who you're talking to?
Our policy says we should queue. Madam, it is high time we started doing things right in this country. Next, please. Turn around.
Mr. Brief, you really need this money for a new pair of shoes.
That notwithstanding, I shall not be bribed. This is corruption, not in my country.
Stop corruption now.
Corruption not in my country.
Welcome back. If you are just tuning in, this is Corruption Must Go. Products of a school system characterized by fraud and dishonesty may manifest such behavior in the future. Logic suggests that students who cheat to pass examination will always cheat in other endeavors of life. It is quite unfortunate that parents who are expected to inculcate good moral values in their children now stoop so low as to aid their wards in examination malpractice through buying of examination papers for their wards in advance or registering them in what is called special centers. The question is, how many of such parents know the adverse consequences of such acts?
Parents do in several ways. One is right from the nursery school. That's where they start from. They encourage malpractice when they don't take care of their children, help them to do the homework. Sometimes you see when children bring work from school, rather than put the child through the homework, the mother or the father or the caregiver would answer the questions, write it for that child. Tell me, how is that child going to be competent? There's no way. Another, as they go on, you find out there are more and more corrupt practices on the part of parents. If, for example, a child has done common entrance into secondary school, some of them go to buy these question papers. They walk through the question papers and the answers are given at the exam hall. Tell me, how can that child go through that secondary school successfully and then it goes on to the university? I don't know whether it happens now, but in the past they used to buy jam marks. They would buy jam marks, and when that child gets to the university, he cannot cope. In the past, they used to drive them out of the university. After first year, you cannot cope with the course, and then you are driven out of the university because you have stolen the opportunity of all the children that are better qualified than you, who has no background whatsoever. The parents should take care of their children, teach them properly. If they are not able to, they should employ teachers that will teach them so that they can have a good background, and so they will be able to compete when it's time for them to take examinations, rather than go take them to special centers to do jam, buy question papers for them. That is the basis of corruption, because that child now believes that you can get anything done by buying papers, by buying positions, by buying all things. They believe that money buys all that they want. And when it comes to employment, they do the same thing for them. So parents should learn to teach their children morals, that they should be able to compete with other children, that they should be well equipped from home.
The primary problem is the fall in the values of the average Nigerian. So many years ago, young men knew that if they did well in school, the sky is their limit. And we expect that a student who has gone through 5 years at the university ought to have built into his values the ability to not only to sustain himself, but also to carve a niche for himself in the society. When values fail, we hear situations where people who are unfit for the universities went to the universities because of public acceptance of what we think is bad. It no longer mattered for a parent to give money and sponsor his child into university through the back door. And when I say back door, I mean paying for admission. And because values fell, it became difficult for even the parents to control the children. So a child that grows up to that system would find it almost impossible for him to stand alone without leaning on somebody. A good graduate in architecture or survey or any of the professionals knows that he can stand on his own without assistance from his parents. In the good old past, most of us went to university, our fathers only knew when we got admission, when we knew that we'll need this assistance. 2, sometimes we also overpressurize our children. When you force a child to go and study what he does not want to study, or when you push a child because you want him or her to go to university, just go there and study subjects that not even have any interest, subjects that just exist on paper, subjects that the economy does not require.
Nowadays, parents don't believe that their children can pass any exam without helping them. It's either they look for questions before time or they look for marks after marking. They just want their children to get through the education by all means, even if they don't know anything. So, you see, in those days when we were in school, I don't know where my father did not know anything. I looked for admission myself, I studied myself, I did GC, I did everything myself. And that's why I had my good results. So with that, I think that should be what should be the aim of every parent. My parents never followed me, or they didn't know where the examination body is. But now, parents can go as far as where the examination body is. It does not happen in the WAEC uni alone. It happens also in the universities. They go and beg lecturers for marks. They go and beg lecturers for that. Then when you look at the professional bodies too, people will be looking for professional questions before they something. And after the question, they say they want you to pass your colleagues. That please help me pass my colleague. It's not done. When we had our own, we didn't do that. We went through our program straight and all those things. So what I'm saying is that the parents should be discouraged from sponsoring their children, either in examination malpractice or result manipulation. So that's what I have for them.
Join hands with ICPC, make them better.
Let's make Nigeria great again.
ICPC, they watch you.
One hand for corruption.
Break the chain of corruption now. Don't give, don't take. This message is brought to you by ICPC, the Anti-Corruption Commission.
You are still watching Corruption Must Go. It is indisputable that examination malpractice has negative effects on the society. We spoke to Mr. Baba Ashiru, the head of Education Department, ICPC, who tells us more on this problem of parents and examination malpractice.
First of all, let us understand the problem of exam malpractices. When we say exam malpractices, we are talking about manipulation of examination processes to confer oneself grades that are not deserved, that one does not deserve. That is manipulation of examination malpractices to confer oneself undue advantage. It takes various forms. Sometimes it is perpetrated by the student alone without even the knowledge of the teachers. Sometimes it is perpetrated with the connivance of the teachers, and some other times even with the connivance of the parents, but the student is at the center stage. So you find that parents even aid and abet examination malpractices, and it has very serious negative implication to the society at large, not only to the student, but also to the society at large, and is punishable under the ICPC law.
Okay. What are the adverse consequences of such action, that is the negative implication to the society?
Through exam malpractice, once exam malpractice is perpetrated, you discover that the student will not be qualified to become the professional that he's supposed to be. He's not supposed to hold the degree certificate he's holding. That means if he claims to have studied engineering but passed his examination through such manipulation, that means he's not a qualified engineer. If he's a civil engineer, that means he may end up contributing to building, that will collapse and kill people and destroy property. If he claims to be a doctor, By perpetrating examination malpractices, that means he will not be a qualified doctor. He will be killing people while administering drugs or kind of conducting operation or something like that, and so on and so forth. So it has serious negative implication. It breeds quackery. It breeds quackery in all manners of professions. So seriously, exam malpractices have serious negative implication to the society, and like I said, it's punishable under the law. I think anybody caught cheating in examination should go to jail for a minimum of 5 and a maximum of 7 years jail time, depending on the magnitude of the offense, because it means conferring oneself undue advantage. That's one. It means bribery. That's 2. It means gratification. That's 3. And it means even falsification of records. So all these are provisions of, punishable offenses under the provisions of the ICPC law, ICPC Act 2000.
Okay. So what advice are you giving to parents or the general public on the issue?
Some parents aid and abet examination malpractices because they are fed up with the recurrent dismal of their children writing examinations, especially jams without passing, or even after passing jams, jam examination, they go to the university and they fail the post-UME examination, and the students become frustrated. So the parents, at times, aid and abet examination malpractices by sponsoring their children, into miracle centers and giving them all the encouragement to connive with the teachers, to engage in examination malpractices so as to cut corners. But I must say that all this is not necessary. Parents should take precaution, and parents should should understand that whenever they encourage their children to engage in exam malpractices, will have a negative consequence on not only their child or their children, but also on them as parents, because whatever problem the child gets involved in future will bounce back on the parents. So, and then they are not helping the society. So parents should avoid encouraging their children and from engaging in examination malpractices.
Now, there's been a lot of talk recently about vote buying, vote selling, vote trading. But the truth is that there's nothing like that. What there is bribery, inducement. The person giving you money for your vote is bribing you to vote for himself or herself or her party. You taking money to vote in a certain way is guilty of taking bribes. Do not receive any bribe, do not take any bribe, and do not give any bribe. It's a criminal offense to take, the criminal offense to give. Vote wisely.
Corruption not in my country.
Welcome, sir.
Hello. I need a room.
You say?
I need a room.
Hi. Okay, we don't get room again. All of them don't be there.
Well, of all my toiling around, I need a room to rest my head.
All the rooms are booked, sir.
Well, all right, okay.
What's going on here?
Nothing, ma'am.
Nothing. But I heard you say to that man that there are no more rooms.
Madam, no more rooms, ma'am.
But we still have 2 rooms left.
Madam, now so we're going to donate room anyhow. No, we'll get one we go use do PP for our pocket.
Are we not in business?
Madam, now our business be this.
This is corruption.
Stop corruption now.
Corruption not in my country.
Education without doubt is the bedrock of societal development. Therefore, any impediments to good education ought to be eliminated by all stakeholders, including parents. Meaningful progress can be made if every parent who is involved in this despicable practice turns over a new leaf and desists from it. That's our package for today. See you again next week. Bye for now.